Hi, welcome to Mocha Wave Talks. Here at Mocha Wave Publishing, we believe that everyone who reads has their own magic. I'm really excited today because I'm here with Anthony Butler, who has written the Raven Chronicles, and I've been hearing so many good things about his books. So welcome, Anthony. Really glad to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
So tell us a little bit about your book. So you have the Raven Chronicles, and you have one of them out now, or two?
Yes, I've I'm I both are out technically. There's still some used ones of Magic Reborn, which is the first novel. I'm having it republished because I changed publishers between book one and book two, and book one has some editing mistakes that did slip through. Being a first time author, I'm still learning. And with the second publisher that I'm with now, I've learned so much from them. They have taught me so much about the publishing process, about editing, about the writing process. I mean, they've given me so many tips. And so I'm having book one, which is the Raven Chronicles Magic Reborn, republished. And it's in the final stages of that. And so that will be available soon.
Wow.
And then my current one that was just released is the Raven Chronicles Magic Scorned.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, we always want to know about our authors and the authors we admire. So tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I was born and raised in LA, and that's not the LA on the West Coast. I was born in Lower Alabama.
Okay.
Um, that's been a joke that people have told me for years, so I just kind of embrace it.
First time
And
I've heard
so,
it. I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. And so I grew up in the South. I've lived in Idaho now for 21 years, actually 23 years. And I've lived in this area in South Central Idaho for 21 years. And so I love it. I love the geography of the area. Um, it's a beautiful, I mean, you can go within 50 miles, you can go mountains, canyons, um, desert, forest. I mean, it's it's just a beautiful area.
Yeah. I lived for a little bit in Boise, and it was so beautiful. I didn't
Hmm.
see all of the Idaho, but I saw some of the mountains. We lived near some mountains. It was really
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, I just, back at the turn of the century, I just decided I needed to make a change in my life, and I think it's been for the better. Um, it's and then I picked up, the idea of writing. I've always kind of had it in the back of my mind. But somewhere around 2018, I decided I would try to put it to paper because I just had this idea for this book in my head, and I just started typing it out, and pretty soon I had a novel.
That's amazing. I love that because a lot of people they don't understand writers. Like it's not like a hobby, right? It's not like it's something that's inside us that just needs to kind of come forth.
Exactly.
We need to put it down on paper.
Right.
Something's telling us we need to do it.
Exactly.
And so I have been hearing so many good things about the Raven Chronicles. It's on my to be read list, but
Thank you.
my friendly nemesis, Resilient Moon Creative, has been telling me a lot about your book. And things that stood out to her were one, your main character, that
Hmm.
she sees the main character. There right now there's a big push for us. Like there's a concern that there's not enough female protagonists out there that are realistic, that are good role models. And the fact that you created one that she could feel with and understand and empathize is a really great thing, I think, that you've done. And then she said your action scenes, like being able to describe action in a way that the reader can really feel pulled into that action, that is a really great skill that you have.
Thank
And
you.
so those are things that, those are selling points for me. I'm like, I want to read it now. And the fact that I heard that there's a dragon in it too, that makes it a big selling push.
Absolutely.
So can you
Eh,
tell what inspired you?
Oh, so back in the early 90s, um, George Lucas approved uh, the expanded universe of Star Wars.
Mhm.
And so Timothy Zahn created the Thrawn trilogy. And that was the first set of books that was allowed to be published in the Star Wars universe that was post Return of the Jedi. And so there was a character in there. Her name's Mara Jade, and she was kind of a anti-hero. She started out as a villain, kind of became an anti-hero, and then became, um, a good protagonist. And and so I actually kind of developed my character after her,
Well,
and a lot of her qualities are kind of built into Raven, without being an exact copy. And because Raven's more of a medieval type setting, and I just wanted her to be something different. I made her into a bounty hunter,
I love
and
that.
then yeah,
Yeah, I think that's so, I mean, I'm going to use this kind of dated language, but it's so cool, right? That we have a strong and sympathetic female bounty hunter. It's kind of, we've been big fans of Boba Fett in Star Wars also.
hmm
Just having that character that, yay, Boba Fett, but now we have one that's also a lady, bounty hunter. That's so cool.
thank you.
It gets me really excited. So, so that was what inspired you. Did you want to tell us anything more about how you developed Raven or anything else about the book that we should know?
I've I've always read like sci-fi and fantasy. That's always been my go-to because when I read, I like to escape reality. And so when I write, it's about escapism and so forth. And so yeah, just I wanted her um to get into this medieval area and not necessarily be a queen or a princess or anything like that. I just wanted to be a little different with the story, so I put her into a bounty hunter where kind of the right and wrong is kind of blurred, and the choices that she makes will push her down her path of either a redemption, or if she might in the future fall into traps, and so forth. There's so much story that I have planned for this character and the side characters around her.
I'm really excited about that. And one of the things I found when I started writing is I had a hard time writing about female characters. And I'm a female, right? It should be easy. But for some reason, and I think it's partly the time I was raised, we're raised in a world where we didn't have a lot of role models, right?
Right.
We had Princess Leia and we had
hmm
Uhura from Star Trek. And those were our two, I hate to date myself, but those were our, powerful female figures. Everything else was kind of like flat or objectified or something.
Right.
And I think and it's really rare to find a male author who can do this. It's just really amazing to me that we have more of that happening, where there's authors that are being able to present a female protagonist who other girls, like girls, can connect to and see it and look up to and learn from and follow.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. And in the past, you've always had the trope where, the damsel in distress type books, and those have been overdone, and and you can find thousands of those type of stories. I just want to be a little different. You still have, the strong male character and like Liam and King Rhys and Reese and things like that. But she stands out on her own as well, and so I wanted to focus story on her with the whole world around her.
I love that. I like that you're doing that. It's definitely, I think I can see it going to places. I'm sure that you said you have quite a big following, and I don't blame them because you are doing a good job with what you're doing. I'm really
Thank
impressed.
you.
Um, so let's say I want to buy your book and I want to see when your next books are going to come out. So how can I follow you to keep updated, and how can I buy your books?
You can find me on Amazon, or you can purchase the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any online retailers. It's going to be available soon on my website because um, I'm going to order several
Mm.
for myself, and they'll be at a a little more of a discount than you might find on Amazon and so forth. Um, so that, and then you can follow me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Um, uh, you can find me on Threads. I am on Threads.
Okay.
I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Okay.
So yeah, I have in my Facebook profile, there's a link tree link that can take you to every one of those different aspects.
Oh, wow. So, is there a passage that you would like to share with us from your book?
Sure. It's the first chapter of Magic Scorned. That way I don't give away, too many spoilers for book two. It's my latest novel. So, yeah, it's Elizabeth approached the Satian castle on Raven's horse's shadow. The horse had bucked on her several times, sensing somehow the person wasn't Raven. Elizabeth threatened to gut her until Raven mentally reached out to Shadow and begged her to listen to the intruder occupying her body. Slowly, the horse calmed down and allowed Elizabeth to ride her. Smart girl. Raven wasn't sure if her mother was talking to her or Shadow. Let's see how welcome we are. I'm sure the castle looks quite different from the last time you visited. Raven could see out of her own eyes now where she couldn't before. She was still locked away in a corner of her mind, but could feel herself gaining slightly more control of her body. Perhaps Elizabeth's power was weakening somewhat. She could only hope as much. Ah, there's a welcoming party, Elizabeth purred. This will be fun. A small contingent of guards carefully approached on horseback. Upon seeing who they perceived was the bounty hunter Raven, they ordered Elizabeth to halt. Leaning forward on Shadow, she addressed the guards. Looks like Sasha has seen better days. Might want to work a little harder at saving my kingdom. Speaking of, I wish to speak with Lord Cameron at once. I have an urgent matter to discuss. Guards sneered. You will address him as King Cameron, and he ordered us to kill you on sight. It was a mistake to come back here, bounty hunter. Now, there's no need for idle threats. I am to be your new queen now, and Cameron will understand he has no choice. One guard spat on the ground in front of her. No bounty hunter witch will ever be a queen, much less ours. We have archers lined up on the wall, just waiting for my signal to fire. Raven hoped the archers would fire. She would rather die here than for her mother to occupy her body any longer. Was Elizabeth's power so strong that she could avoid so many arrows at once? She wished to find out.
Oh, that's so good. I love it. You already got me hooked.
Thank you.
Like, oh, so there's a lot I need to catch up with. I'm going to read the first one very soon, and then I'm going to get your next one. And I will definitely share with you some of my favorite parts as I'm reading them.
Okay. Thank you.
So anything else that you'd like to tell us?
No, I became an author because I love to write. I mean, I actually uh, love the process of sitting down and writing. Even editing, I enjoy until I get to about the 20th time. And then it's like, oh, is this over yet? But I do enjoy the whole process of writing. So I plan to make this an ongoing series. It's not going to stop as a trilogy. I'm going, because like I said, I've got more stories for her.
Oh,
Um, and so, yeah, whether it be four, five, or six books,
mhm.
um, I'm just going to keep telling the story.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for doing that. I'm really appreciating your work.
Thank you.
And so thank you for joining me today. I really enjoyed having
Absolutely.
you.
I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
So everyone, make sure you follow Anthony Butler on social media and on his webpage at
The
anthonybutler.com.
AnthonyDButler.com.
anthonybutler.com.
Yeah.
All right. And so make sure you follow him and buy his books. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Ellen.
much.
Thank you. And
All right.
everybody, remember, the universe is a dragon stream.